have done all rights and all lefts before. My favorite drill of all times for horses. You know, if you constantly do the pattern with these horses, it bores them. We want them to like their job. All rights and all lefts, they never get bored because they're always just working on one side of the brain. It becomes relaxing for them. But on the other part of it, what we're going to do today is we're going to start out slow and then we're going to speed it up. How many of you done all rights, all lefts fast? Fun! Got one. Okay. So the nice thing about speeding it up is we're going to probably see things that sometimes go wrong, right? So we can have a perfect pattern when we go slow, and then when we speed it up, certain things sometimes fall apart. So not that I do this all the time with my horses, but it's speed control. I want my horses to know that they're okay if they're going fast too. So again, I don't want to run them on the pattern, you know, over and over and over. That's something that they would not be happy with. So doing all rights and all lefts, again, you're working on one side of the brain and it just becomes an exercise and a drill for them rather than them doing the pattern. So what we're going to do is I have 2 sets set up just so that one person can kind of either walk or jog and do some relaxation drills while I'm helping the other person. And then if they're kind of getting some ruts, we can track or move the barrels down. I like to do I'll set up barrels sometimes all around my arena like this, where you could do all rights, all lefts with 2 patterns like this. You could do all these barrels in a row. You could just set them up all over the arena and do different drills with them. But the main thing that I really, really like to do is making sure you're just always going in a cloverleaf pattern from the inside out. I would never want to turn the first barrel and go to the second barrel on the outside of it, because then you're kind of teaching a horse that they can bow off a turn. You're teaching a horse that they possibly could duck, right? Or that vibe of going across the pen. So we always want them to be in a cloverleaf form when we're doing all rights and all lefts. So you can do this pattern in a really small pattern, which is great because then you're just working on turn, 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 and that trust, which I mean like super small. You can also do it in a large pattern as well, or just kind of a medium size like this. So you can kind of switch it up whether you kind of want to work on that speed control, really kind of gaining speed to collect speed in your turn, or whether your horse you feel it just needs practice on turn, 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 turn. You can kind of shorten it up where you just learn to trust them and they're just practicing on that turn. So just know that you can make the size of the pattern all different sizes. So I'll go ahead and do it on this pattern here so you can kind of see, and then obviously when we get started we can kind of just spread around the arena a little bit so we just aren't in one cluster. But let's kind of just go over that perfect pattern one more time and just kind of refresh since the last clinic that you guys have been to. So you always kind of want to line up with the inside of your third barrel when you're making your run. So if this was my pattern I was going to run, this is pretty rule of thumb. Some horses like to get a little bit tighter and like a straighter line, but I wouldn't be getting much farther out here where you're having to dive into that barrel. So just kind of basic rule of thumb for the public of different kinds of horses is lining up with that inside of your third barrel of whatever direction you're going. Obviously I'm going to the right, and I'm going to ride to that perfect 6 feet. Okay, some of you went up the pen today, and this is a real common thing that happens on the first barrel. That's why we call it a money barrel. But when I hit this 6 feet, I got to not concentrate on my energy up the pen. And I saw a lot of you, your energy is still up here. So you actually go up there and come around. When you get to this 6 feet, it's time to look on that back side of that barrel. Okay? So now I'm going to direct to my 3 feet. Remember, we're going to turn that barrel when it gets past our leg, not in front of our leg. This is the truck, this is the trailer. If we're making that turn, we got to go straighter longer to get this hip by, or this trailer by that turn so you don't curve it. So right here is where I'm going to focus on that 3 feet with this hind end. He's got to push off here in that turn. Okay, same thing we do all rights and all lefts. get to that 3 feet to come through and go to your next barrel. So you have to have that oval shape on the backside. I'm going to have a straight line. I'm not going to move out to move in. That's a waste of, that's a whole extra stride, 2 strides, 3 strides that you're wasting in your run that you don't need. Ride to your 3 feet, get that hip all the way by that turn, depending whether they're stiff or bendy style. This horse is a real bendy style, and let that horse come around. So, why we love this drill so much is it helps that horse be honest on the front side, drive to that back side, open my hand up, and guide through. And it will help overturn a horse that likes to bow out that shoulder, okay? So, wonderful, wonderful drill of helping them right here get shaped to drive that hip. This is where you should be the most bendy to guide through to that next barrel, okay? So I'll go ahead and open it for you now. So get all the way up into that turn, lift, push forward, guide. Your nice straight line. Let that horse collect and push off. There's your straight line. I'm always moving my fingers. I'm staying balanced. I'm squeezing with my legs. They want to be a little bit lazy. I'm going to make them tuck that belly up. Quicken their feet. Right there, he took the wrong lead. I didn't make a big deal about it. I just broke to a trot, came back through. Always keeping my hands up in my box. Center of gravity in the middle of that horse. Always keeping my legs close. You don't see any air between my legs and that horse. I'm squeezing with my calves, especially when they leave that turn. I want them to stay light in their feet. Okay, so we're going to start out slow, and then we're going to speed it up. And when we speed it up, I don't want you guys to ride stiff. I don't want you guys to do anything foreign. If the horse bobbles somewhere, has a mistake, you have a mistake. Don't ever do something foreign like, I'm too tight. Okay, then that's going to put the horse on the defense. Like, oh no, you've made a panic spot for me. If you mess up, just let it happen. Then come back to it and correct it. To then build that trust and self-confidence on that horse for you and him, okay? All right, so